We've got the all-new Volkswagen Tiguan, and boy, does it ever look good.
And they brought their A game, and we're off.
We're off a little bit of turbo lag there on this new engine.
Yep, there's a lot to unbox with this. The good news is people asked for it, Andrea. They asked for it. They asked and they asked. They said, we need more power. So they've delivered. What's under the hood of this thing?
Well, 17 extra horsepower. It's powered by a 2-liter turbocharged 4-cylinder with an 8-speed automatic transmission, 201 horsepower, and 221 pound-feet of torque. Standard all-wheel drive in Canada. There is a front-wheel drive model in the US. It's going to change your torque number a little bit, 207 pound-feet.
So to muddy the waters even more, so we're in the top trim. This is the R-Line top spec. If you wait just a few months, don't know why they're doing this, in 2026 model year, this engine is going to go from 201 horsepower to 268 horsepower.
And 258 pound-feet of torque.
So I might wait for that one if I was buying, but it's only available on this top spec. They are thinking maybe in the future they might offer it on other trims, but right now, for the fall, it'll only be on this spec.
Yep.
So there's a lot to unbox with this. There's a lot to talk about, and a lot of it is very good, by the way. We're going to get into right now the key standard features.
The base trim comes with a 12.9-inch touchscreen, wireless Apple CarPlay and Android Auto, a 10.25-inch digital driver display, 15-watt wireless charger, a 6-speaker audio system, cloth upholstery, manual front seats with height adjustment, heated front seats, a heated steering wheel, manual tailgate, and IQ Drive driver assist technology. A heated steering wheel is not standard in the US, but you can get it on the top trim.
So it's a new Tiguan. It's the 3rd generation. The previous one outsold the original by a long shot, and they truly believe that this new one is going to outsell the last one by a long shot. And a lot of it's going to come down to the features on the inside, but how does it drive? Does it drive like a Tiguan?
Oh my God, it's so good. You guys are going to be impressed. If you own a Tiguan, if you've driven a Tiguan before and it wasn't quite right for you, this model with the extra power, wow, not only is it refined, pretty quiet on the highway, but the power has improved so much with this new engine that Volkswagen is calling the Evo 5.
Yeah, their tip-in is really good. So in town, often on the throttle from a stop sign or a stoplight, you get away quickly. It's very responsive. It has a nice sound to it as well. And then for cruising on the highway, here's something that's interesting, Andrea. It's got more power than the last model, but it is 170
pounds lighter.
170 pounds lighter. It's 170 pounds lighter. So even though it has more power, it has more stuff on the inside, it's lighter, and it gets slightly better fuel economy.
It sure does. So let's talk about this new engine. It's actually exclusive to Tiguan. I did ask, do you think this will trickle down to other Volkswagen models in the fleet? Maybe at some point. So this has got a new variable geometry, turbocharger, charge cooling, injection system, and camshaft design. That's where that extra power is coming from.
I just love that techie talk over there, Andrea. Getting me all hot and bothered over. Talk more about cams and intercoolers.
Camshaft systems.
All right, so that's all good news. You don't really care when you go to the dealer and take it for a test drive. You will notice, however, all it means to you is that this drives better than the last one. I will say, however, we've been in beautiful twisty roads here in Montana, and I find even in sport mode, the steering is light, but they know they're buyers. I think for some people, they'll maybe feel it's a little bit light, but for the people that buy this, that got to wheel it in and out of parking lots and school zones, they'll be happy with that.
You know, pretty typical of this non-luxury compact class to have lighter steering. The only competitor would be Mazda with the CX-5 or the CX-50 with the heavier steering if you like that kind of feel, but then you get a smaller vehicle than this. I prefer heavier steering myself, but I could live with this because I'm getting that extra power. I'm getting slightly better fuel economy.
Are you going to wait for the 268 horsepower version?
You know what, Zach? I think I am, because it's going to be fun. Like, those numbers are getting into BMW X3 territory.
All right, so let's unbox that a little bit. I truly believe with this new interior we're going to talk about in a moment, and that available engine at almost 270 horsepower, and the new design of this on the outside, that I think that they're, somebody's shopping for an Audi Q3, and they'll go, well, what the hell, I'll just get a Tiggy. I'll get a fully loaded Tiguan. And here's something interesting. The best-selling Tiguan is the top model.
In Canada.
Yeah.
Yep. Not so much in the US, but in Canada, it's the top selling model, and it's the same with the Atlas. So what does that tell us? That tells us that maybe consumers are looking at a luxury brand vehicle, but then they think, I got to add more features. It's going to cost me more. Get this.
Yeah, get this. So they've done some interesting things with the design, Andrea. The hood sits a little bit higher and square, which gives it a blockier front. It's slightly wider than the last Tiguan, but the roof line is slightly cropped, so it's totally different looking.
I mean, night and day. We went from a boxy design to a sleeker design that's now more aerodynamic. This is actually 1.7 inches shorter than the previous Tiguan, but half an inch wider about. Wheelbase stays the same. And when we get into the interior, you're going to see that some areas are bigger and some areas are either the same or a little bit smaller.
I would say it's, for the smaller ones, it's kind of a wash, but the back seat, when you see it, is surprising. And they've done a very, very good job. It does kind of look maybe part of the ID family from a distance. You can see kind of this leaning into that. So it's all good. I think the design on the outside, it's fresh, it's modern. People thought the last one was a little bit wagon looking. This one definitely looks modern, and that's what they were going for.
I gotta say, this has got to be my favorite Tiguan now. Love the exterior design. I'm a big fan of the light bars, the available light bar in the front and in the rear. It's not standard, but if you've got a few extra dollars and you have the budget, you can get this top trim. I just think it looks so sharp, and you've got that Volkswagen badging that lights up too.
So this is not the cut and paste European Tiguan. This is the European Tiguan, and they differentiate them in the European market, but they brought that sort of slightly bigger version here to North America. So it is a Tiguan, and it is the best-selling Volkswagen, by the way. Tiguan outsells all other models worldwide, so this is an important vehicle.
Another thing I really like about Volkswagen is that they offer, these different trims. You can get the black edition model with black exterior accents and black wheels, but if you don't like that look, then you can brighten it up and just have chrome exterior accents. There's enough trims to choose from, and you heard about all the standard features off the top. It comes well equipped. The Tiguan has 7 inches of ground clearance and comes standard with LED projector headlamps, LED tail lamps, chrome accents, 17-inch wheels, available 18-inch and 20-inch wheels, and you get a compact spare tire, which we're always happy to see.
So Tiguan is the best seller worldwide, and it typically is the best seller, especially in the Canadian market. And they do have a plug-in hybrid in the European market. There is a hybrid in the works for Volkswagen. It is not going to be ready for probably a couple of years. They have to re-engineer the existing platform they have in the European market, so we have to wait.
I wanted to add that it is raining here in Bozeman, Montana, and the brakes are really sharp. The road is wet. It's a little bit slippery, and I'm finding that the Tiguan handles it no problem. It's a breeze. Comfort level when driving, you're gonna find that this on a long road trip is going to offer the comfort level that you want.
We told you there was a lot to unbox here. Outside, definitely modern and fresh. That's good. More horsepower welcome, even more power coming for 2026. It's when you get to the inside, there's a whole lot going on with this new Tiguan. I'm going to start, Andrea, by asking you, how do you like your massaging seats?
Fantastic massaging seats. I mean, you actually feel like you're getting a bit of a massage. Better than the ID4, better than the ID Buzz. We recently had the Cadillac Escalade, and for those who know, we're talking into the $100,000 range. I would say that these are pretty comparable.
But the fact that it's available
Yeah.
in a compact mainline SUV, granted, only on this top trim, but as we discussed already, this trim, the top trim, funnily enough, is the best seller in the Canadian market.
Yeah.
I guess we like spending our money on getting the nice stuff. Massaging seats are now in here. Also, the mix of materials on this trim, you've got leather seats, beautiful stitching, open pore wood, and amazing lighting.
Yeah, this comes standard with cloth upholstery. You've got available leatherette, and then of course this quilting and piping on the leather seats for this top trim. You know what? The center console's been totally cleaned up. You've got 7.6 liters extra storage space. Steering wheel looks great. You don't have
And you've still got real buttons.
real buttons. Hello. You've got this large screen on the top trim. It's a 15-inch touchscreen, but don't fret if you don't get the top trim. Standard 12.9-inch with standard wireless Apple CarPlay and Android Auto.
Yeah, so we just did a little video on the updates for 2026 for the CR-V Honda, and theirs is what, 10 inches?
9.
It's 9 inches. So even if you don't get the top trim, you're still getting way more than somebody who buys a Honda.
And one thing about the previous model is the processing times on that infotainment system weren't great, slow. So this new system is faster. The graphics look really great, clear, crisp. I think that you'll be very impressed with it. Storage at the center console, because now they've added a column shifter, it just frees up more storage here, makes it a little bit cleaner. Door pockets are also quite wide. They're not long, but wide. Still some piano black in here, but a lot less. This just feels more upscale and elegant. The only other competitor that I would say that would come close to this in the non-luxury class is Mazda, but their infotainment system is very slow.
I would say I'll have to give Mitsubishi credit.
Oh, Mitsubishi.
The new Outlander interior is very nice, and they have the new Yamaha sound system, which is really good. When we saw this for the very first time at the LA Auto Show last year, we were like, this is a mainline car. Back to our thoughts moments ago. If you get this top trim, especially when it gets the new upgraded engine and this interior, you're pushing up into luxury kind of vibes.
I complained that the previous model came with a standard 6.5-inch touchscreen. I know some of you don't care so much about larger screens, but it's the way it all works, and it's about being competitive in the marketplace, and Volkswagen has nailed it with this new model. Now this top trim really does come with all the extras, like a 3-position driver's seat memory, a power passenger seat that's 8-way, ventilated front seats with massage, a 360 camera.
On this top trim, other features include a 12-speaker Harman Kardon sound system, a head-up display, 30-color ambient lighting, heated rear seats, and a hands-free power liftgate. If you don't go for the top trim, available features on lower trims that might check all the right boxes include a panoramic sunroof, 8-way power driver's seat with power recline and lumbar support. Instead of 30-color ambient lighting, you go down to 10-color ambient lighting, but you still get a power liftgate available.
Now, over the years, there have been a lot of complaints about Volkswagen models with the slider. It wasn't backlit at night. You couldn't see it. Well, Volkswagen listened, and they are now backlit. The slider is still there, but we have a GTI, and I gotta say, we've gotten used to it.
But the other thing is, people complain, I was one of them, Andrea.
I know.
I want a volume knob. Well, they didn't just give us a volume knob, Andrea. They did volume knob plus plus. They've got this knob that's big, it's in the center here, and it's dual function. So it's a volume knob, you push it, it changes to drive modes, and then you can swipe that on top because it's a haptic thingy, and then you can get into your moods for all those ambient lighting features we talked about.
Yeah.
So it's a multi-function, big knob in the center, that's very welcome, and the start-stop button is next to it. So these are all little changes, along with the real switches on the steering wheel that make it feel very modern and fresh, but traditional at the same time.
And about those moods, they not only include the colors, but also sound. It kind of reminds me of what Mini did with theirs.
Here's me getting in the second row. I find just looking and sitting in the back, this thing is big. It's got a lot of legroom. It's got a lot of headroom. You can totally stretch out and recline. How does it stack up?
Comparing the Tiguan to the CR-V, the Tiguan has 40.2 inches of front row legroom and second row legroom, which is about an inch less than the Honda. But if you compare this Tiguan to the previous model, the front row legroom remains the same, but you gain 1.5 inches of second row legroom.
When you lift the power liftgate on this model, you see a very useful cargo area. The width and the depth is about the same as the previous model. You do lose, however, a tiny bit of room because the roof is lower. How does it stack up?
Cargo space for the Tiguan behind the second row is 26.5 cubic feet, and overall cargo space is 58.9 cubic feet. Both areas are smaller than the CR-V.
So you might remember, because the previous model was based on the long wheelbase European Tiguan, it had a third row available. It was about $750. Only about 10% of people bought that. What did they do to it, Andrea? Gone. So now it's just a 2-row, 5-passenger, which is what most people bought. Well, I feel exhausted after going through all the changes, but there's still some things we haven't mentioned, like fuel economy and our vital stats.
Let's start with pricing. We'll do Canada first and then move on to the US. Canadian pricing includes freight, PDI, and fees. The base model starts at just over $39,000 and the top trim is just over $50,000. In the US, MSRP, the base all-wheel drive model starts at just under $31,000 and the top trim is just over $39,500.
Here's the fuel economy: 10.5 liters per 100 kilometers city, 7.8 on the highway. That's 22 miles per gallon city, 30 on the highway. The Tiguan with all-wheel drive now has more towing capacity, up 300 pounds to 1,800 pounds. The front-wheel drive models, it's still just 1,500. The warranty is 4 years, 80,000 kilometers, or 50,000 miles. Lightning round: 2 things we like, 2 things we'd like to see improved.
I'm sorry, I can't pick one because Volkswagen brought their A game on all levels of Tiguan.
Yeah, I think the upgrades are definitely welcome.
Well, I won't miss the third row. Some of you may, and it is gone.
The only thing is that I'm surprised they're having this top trim with this engine just for a few short months until the new one arrives. It's a head scratcher, but that's what it is. Okay, so that's what we think of the new Tiguan. What do you think of the new Tiguan?
Thanks for watching, and if you like what you see, subscribe. We'll see you next time.